Hi students, this is A. Srinivas, lecturer in physics, Vignan Junior College, Vadlamudi. Students, we are discussing the moving charges and magnetism chapter. This is the very important chapter in JEE main examination. Rather than board examination, moving charges and magnetism is very important chapter. In recent exams, that is 2020 September JEE main exams, in one or two papers we had 3 questions also. In every paper we must have one question. 2 questions are given in some papers. In some papers 3 questions are also given in this chapter. And moreover, it is a creative chapter. So according to the given directions, we have to create the direction, find the direction of net magnetic field to find out the answer. So it is very important chapter. Simply by hearting the formulas, we can't find the solutions for the problems in this chapter. We must know the concepts clearly. Once you know the concepts, we become tension free and we solve the problems very easily in this chapter. So let us continue this chapter. The contents that we are going to discuss in the chapter, in this session are: first one, force between two parallel current carrying wires. There are two parallel current carrying wires. They may attract or they may repel. That magnetic force arises due to the flow of current between the two wires is calculated in the first topic. And second one, from that we define the definition of ampere. We know that ampere is the SI unit of current. We define ampere, and then followed by applications of this force between two parallel current carrying wires. There are plenty of applications. Then we discuss that applications, and to understand the known concept, we solve problems belongs to them. So let us move on to the first topic of this session. So that is, we are going to discuss the force between two parallel infinite long current carrying conductors. Students, the first one is, we would like to derive the expression for force between two parallel infinitely long current carrying conductors. So let us consider the two parallel long current carrying conductors. See the animation. Students, let this be the first long straight current carrying conductor. This dotted lines spots indicates it is infinite length. It is a long wire. This is the long wire. Let it be denoted by the letters PQ. I1 is the current passing through the first wire. Similarly, consider another parallel wire. Look into the board and see the animation. Here, this is the another wire, RS. This is a long straight second wire, RS, carrying current I2. Moreover, in the diagram we observe that PQ and RS are parallel to each other. These two are. So far we have two long current carrying wires, PQ and RS, carrying currents I1, I2 respectively. Moreover, they are strictly parallel to each other. Here, the perpendicular distance between the two parallel wires is equal to small r. Look into the animation and observe the data carefully. So let r be the perpendicular distance between these two parallel wires. And then this is the important point, B1. Due to the current I1 along first wire, there is magnetic field produced by I1 current carrying wire along second wire. So I repeat this line. The current carrying wire PQ is the first wire carrying current I1. This I1 current carrying wire produces magnetic field B1 along second wire RS. So to know the direction, when you consider your right hand, directions are most important. Not only formulas and definitions, directions are very important, especially in moving charges and magnetism chapter, students. That's why take your right hand and keep like this and align your thumb in our right hand, align thumb of our right hand along the direction of current I1. Then at the right side of this one, the magnetic field direction, curl your fingers, curl your 4 fingers. So they are directed into the board. So put the thumb along the direction of current, then curl your remaining fingers. They are showing the direction into the board. So this is the direction of magnetic field produced by I1 current carrying wire. That's why I marked this B1 is into the board. So due to I1 current carrying wire, there exists B1 directed into the board along the second wire. So see the direction once again. What so far I explained, you observed in this animation, students. See the direction. So like that, it is into the board. That's why we put into mark, and it is of value B1. Magnetic field strength is B1 caused by I1 current carrying wire. Okay, we write the value later. So far I explained what is B1 and where is B1 and what is the direction of B1. So next one, here due to this B1, here I2 current carrying wire, now I2 current carrying wire is in magnetic field B1. Along this I2 current carrying wire, at each and every point along the current carrying wire there exists B1. So I2 current carrying wire lies in magnetic field B1, then there is a force acting on the current carrying wire. If a current carrying wire is in magnetic field, there is force acting on the current carrying wire. To know the force acting on the current carrying wire direction, we use the Fleming left hand rule. This is the important, students, look into me. Fleming left hand rule. Consider your left hand, take your left hand and put your thumb, forefinger and middle finger in mutually perpendicular direction. Thumb shows F direction, forefinger shows B direction and middle finger shows I direction, respectively FBI. So align this forefinger in the direction of B. Here because B is into the board, arrange your hand, rotate your hand such that this forefinger is along B1 direction. B1 is into the board. Okay, it is correct. But I2, B1 is the magnetic field along the current carrying wire carrying current I2. So this finger should be along the direction of I2. That's why rotate your hand like this. We have to rotate our hand comfortably such that this indicates B1 and this finger indicates I2. So I rotated my left hand in this direction such that the B1, direction of B1 is shown by this finger, forefinger, direction of I2 shown by this middle finger. Then obviously the thumb indicates force. So observe this one. I put the arrow mark in this animation, in this image, I put the arrow mark of force direction towards the I1 current carrying wire because of this reason, this Fleming left hand rule. Therefore, force exerted on the second wire which carrying current I2 in the present in the magnetic field B1 is force acting on the second wire according to this rule is F21, that is towards I1 current carrying wire. So once again, students, you observe the direction of B1. See the animation. B1 is because of I1 current, B1 is into the board. Let us observe the animation. And because of I2 current carrying wire lies in magnetic field B1, there exists a force acting on the current carrying wire according to Fleming left hand rule, what I explained so far. According to this, the force is towards I1 current carrying wire. So that is the direction. Here we write the value of B1 and F21, that is the first thing. So magnetic field on RS, I would like to give the values of B1 and F21 first of all. Due to I1 current carrying wire there exists B1. So magnetic field along RS line due to I1 current carrying wire, we know that B is equal to, due to long current carrying wire, magnetic field has the formula mu naught I by 2 pi r. This is a very well known expression for us. mu naught I by 2 pi r. Therefore, see this formula, mu naught I1 by 2 pi r, B1, due to I1 current carrying wire at a distance r from long wire, the magnetic field is B1, the magnitude of the magnetic field is mu naught I1 by 2 pi r in magnitude, direction is into the boat. Okay. Then force, I2 current carrying wire lies in the magnetic field B1, then according to Fleming left hand rule, the force is acting is F21 towards first wire. The magnitude of the force is given by, here the formula for force is, here I am writing the expression for force, students. F is equal to BIL sin theta is the general formula, BIL sin theta. F is equal to BIL sin theta. Here B1 magnetic field is B1, current is I2. So B1 I2, we consider force on a wire of part of a wire of length L. We are writing force on a long wire of a part of length L. So F21, force acting on the second wire is F21, that is equal to B1 I2L. So I2 current carrying wire is in the magnetic field of induction B1, then force acting on the wire is B1 I2L. Here angle, you observe this one, I2 is, let it be along y direction, B1 is along negative z direction. So angle between positive y direction, negative z direction obviously 90, so theta is 90. So we are writing it one. And we replace B1 here, B1 by the above formula, mu naught I1 by 2 pi r into I2 into L into theta between B1 and I2, theta between the B1 and I2 into the boat and the positive y direction makes 90 degrees angle, sin 90. So F21 is equal to mu naught, so B1 once again, B1 mu naught I1 by 2 pi r, I2 L into theta is 90 degrees. Or here as sin 90 is 1, rearranging this equation, simply we get force acting on the second wire by the first wire is mu naught I1 I2L divided by 2 pi r. This is the magnitude of force acting on I2 current carrying wire which lies in the magnetic field of B1. Mu naught I1 I2L by 2 pi r, this is acting towards the first wire, first current carrying wire. So as already explained, B1 is perpendicular into the plane and I2 is along y direction, that's why theta is 90, so that we get this equation. Next we would like to know what is the magnetic field along I1. Next we change our discussion. Next we would like to find the what is the magnetic field along I1 current carrying wire due to I2. Here we have I2 current carrying wire. Due to this I2 current carrying wire, there exists magnetic field along I1. Let it be B2. I repeat, due to I2 current carrying wire, there exists B1. Due to I2 current carrying wire, there exists B2 magnetic field along PQ wire. So the direction, when you take your right hand and put the thumb along straight current carrying wire, this is the long current carrying wire, I2 is the long current carrying wire. Because of this I2 magnetic field here, curl your fingers, they are coming out of the board. Therefore magnetic field due to I2 current carrying wire along PQ wire is B2, it is out of the board according to the explained direction. See the animation, in animation you observe that one, here it is, we put a dot and circle means it is out of the board, B2 is out of the board. Then apply Fleming right hand rule. I1 current carrying wire, I1 current carrying wire lies in magnetic field B2. Then what is the force acting on this current carrying wire? To calculate the force acting on current carrying wire direction, once again consider Fleming left hand rule. I clearly explained the respectively these three fingers indicates force, F, magnetic field B and current direction. Rotate this hand along respective directions. Here B2 is out of the board, that's why we have to put your hand like this, B2 is out of the board. But current is B2 is out of the board and the current is in upward direction. So simply rotate your hand like this. So exactly similar to the conditions of the first wire. B2 is the magnetic field along first wire, that is out of the board. I1 current is in upward direction. Then this is the direction of force. Then force acting on the first wire is F12. It is towards the second wire. So in the coming animation, you observe the force direction here like that. F12. Force acting on the first wire is towards the second wire. Therefore, now we write the expression for the B2 and F12. So we know B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r formula. Due to I2 current carrying long wire at a distance r, there exists B2. So expression for B2 is this formula, mu naught I2 by 2 pi r. Of course, it is out of the board direction. Next one, because this I1 current carrying wire lies in the magnetic field B2, the force acting on the wire is given by F12. According to Fleming left hand rule, it is towards the second wire. And once again, the F12 BAL sin theta is the expression. If any current carrying wire carrying current I lies in magnetic field B on length L of the wire, the force acting is BAL sin theta. Here B2 is the magnetic field, I1 is the current carrying wire present in this magnetic field, B2 I1 L sin theta. This is the general formula. I1 current carrying wire lies in magnetic field B2 on part of length L. The force acting is F12 B2 I1 L sin theta. So here B2 is replaced by this expression. B2 is replaced by this expression. Therefore, mu naught I2 by 2 pi r into I1 into L theta. B2 is out of the board. Theta is the angle between B2 and I1 direction. B2 is out of the board, let it be positive z direction. I1 is positive y direction. Angle between positive z direction and positive y direction is obviously 90. That is sin 90. That is 1. Therefore, force acting on the first wire is given by rearranging sin 90 is 1 and rearranging this equation. We find force acting on the first wire by the second wire is mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi r. So let us observe. Finally we have two expressions here. We have two long parallel current carrying wires. We have two long parallel current carrying wires such that PQ and RS. Current in the first wire is I1, current in the second wire is I2, and distance of separation between the wires is R. Then these two wires attract each other. When current direction, observe the current direction. If current direction is in same, if currents are in the same direction, as shown in the PQ and RS wires, then the two wires are attract each other. Force exerted on the second wire by the first wire is mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi r, or force acting on the first wire by the second wire is also given by the same expression. No difference in it. So they attract each other with equal magnitude of force. They are attracting each other. Second wire is attracted towards the first wire is attracted towards the second wire with equal magnitude of force. That is given by, in both the cases we get same formula. Let us observe the students this formula. Mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi r. This is the most important expression. This is the result that we need in this derivation. Force between two parallel wires is mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi r, where I1 I2 are the currents in two parallel long current carrying wires. R is the distance between them. Then the force on any wire of part of length L is mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r. So here finally we write this conclusion. Therefore, simply the force between two parallel long current carrying wires is F is equal to either F12 or F21. Let it be F in magnitude, that is mu naught, this is the expression, very important expression, mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi r. In coming part of our discussion, we discuss applications of this formula. In each and every application, we repeat this expression. The force between two parallel current carrying wires is F12 or F21, both attracts each other when current is in same direction, mu naught I1 I2L divided by 2 pi r. Then force per unit length. This is the force on wire of part of length L. Then force per unit length, just cross multiply, we get F by L is equal to mu naught I1 I2L by 2 pi r. Force means Newton, force per unit length means Newton per meter. Force per unit length between two parallel current carrying wires is mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi r. Students, I hope you followed this derivation very well. We continue the discussion. Here now in this part of discussion, I would like to give a clear idea about the direction of the forces. That is the most important. Here, as we explained, when I1 I2 are in the same direction, for two parallel long current carrying wires such as PQ and RS, if I1 I2 are in the same direction, see the direction. I1 is positive y direction. Consider I2 also in positive y direction. Highlight this direction. If I1 I2 are in same direction, then the force is attractive. I1 I2 are in same direction, force is attractive. Students, remember, keep it in mind, this is the important point. If the currents are in the same direction, force is attractive, as shown in the diagram. And by Fleming left hand rule, we find it. Already I explained the Fleming left hand rule number of times in previous part of our discussion. That's why keep it in mind, keep the result of this explanation in mind, that I1 I2 in same direction, force is attractive. Of course, that is mu naught I1 I2L by 2 pi r. Expression is okay, mu naught I1 I2L by 2 pi r, but direction is attractive. Okay. Another hand, if the currents are in opposite direction, see, I1 is in upward direction, positive y direction. Now I change just the I2. I think you followed the difference. Here I2 also parallel to I1 directions, in same direction in this first part. In second diagram, you observe that we changed the direction of I2. I1 is in positive y direction, whereas I2 is in negative y direction. We changed the direction of current. These are two parallel long wires carrying current. These are the two parallel long wires carrying current in opposite direction. Let us see Fleming left hand rule. Students, because of this I1 current, here we have B1. B1 is into the board. Let me to explain the directions of F1, F2, why they are repulse each other. In this case, diagram shows they repel each other. So let me to explain why they repel each other. Because of I1 current carrying long wire, magnetic field along second wire is into the board. Undoubtedly it is into the board. Then what is F2? To find F2, we use Fleming left hand rule. F B I directions. B is into the board. Current is downwards. See the students, look into my hand. B is into the board and now I2 is in downward direction. Then F must be away from first wire. Repulsion, away from first wire. This is the direction of F21. So, which is shown in the diagram. Similarly, consider here. Due to I2 current carrying wire, take your right hand and put the thumb along the direction of the I2 current. Then B2 is into the board now. Here B2 is into the board. B2 due to I2 is into the board. Then to find the force on I1 in the presence of B2, once again consider the Fleming left hand rule. Here B2 is into the board, okay, but I1 is upwards. FBI, we know that these are FBI directions respectively. B2 is into the board, rotate your finger. I1 is in upward direction, then force is outwards, repulsion force. So anyhow, conclusion is important. If the two wires are carrying two long parallel wires like PQ and RS, two long parallel wires carrying currents I1, I2 in opposite direction, then they repel each other. Magnitude is same because values are same. Mu naught I1, I2, L by 2 pi r is the expression for force. But now In the second case, it becomes repulsive, repulsion force is acting. So, in one line, I conclude this part of discussion. That is, if two long parallel current carrying wires carrying current in same direction, force is attractive. If two long parallel current carrying wires carries current in opposite direction, they repel each other. So, that is the conclusion. Next, we define ampere. So, definition of ampere. Here, let us consider this formula. Force per unit length between two long parallel wires is mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi r. If students, if I1 and I2 is 1 ampere, we would like to define 1 ampere, and which conditions it becomes 1 ampere. If I1 I2 is equal to 1 ampere and R is equal to 1 meter, then force per unit length is given by mu naught by 2 pi, that is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7, mu naught by 2 pi. The value of mu naught by 2 pi is 2 into 10 power minus 7. I1 is 1 and I2 is 1. Force per unit length mu naught by 2 pi, 2 into 10 power minus 7. I1 is 1, I2 is 1, and R is also equal to 1. So, for two long parallel wires separated, two long parallel wires separated by a distance 1 meter, carrying current in same direction and attract with a force per unit length 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton per meter. Two long parallel wires carrying equal current separated by 1 meter distance, attract each other with a force per unit length 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton per meter, then obviously the current passing through them must be equal to 1 ampere. So, according to this condition, so let me write the definition here. So, the conditions are written here. If I1 I2 is 1 ampere and R is 1 meter, then we understood that F is equal to 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton per meter. Put them in a word format. 1 ampere is that current which, if passes in each of two parallel conductors of infinite length and placed 1 meter apart in vacuum, causes each conductor to experience a force 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton per meter of length is 1 ampere. If two parallel long current wires separated by 1 meter carrying equal amount of current attract each other with a force, experience each other with a force of 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton per meter, then current passing through each wire is considered to be 1 ampere. So, that is the definition. Let us see the direction of magnetic fields produced by the two parallel wires in this animation. So, repeatedly I explained the direction. So, because of this I1, this is the direction of B1. Because of this I2, this is the direction of B2. Then in this in between I1 and I2 at particular region, if B1, B2 cancels each other because they are in opposite direction, so B2 is here I2, B2 is out of the boat and B1 is into the boat. In between them at certain points B1, B2 may become equal and they cancels, we may get null point here, and outside this is the direction. And in case of opposite direction, there is no null point because they aid each other, they add each other as well as add each other. So, here I1 current carrying wire gives magnetic field into the boat, and I2 current carrying, we change the direction of current, also produces magnetic field into the boat. Both are producing magnetic field in same direction. So, in between the wires, the magnetic field is high. So, this is the direction of magnetic lines of forces due to two parallel current carrying wires. Students, so far in this part of our discussion, we calculated the force between two parallel long current carrying wires, that is F is equal to mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r, and we find that if the current are in same direction, they attract each other. For opposite direction, they repel each other, and we defined ampere. Next, we move on to the applications. So, this is the first application. Here, we continue the discussion of applications now. So, a hanging wire, application belongs to hanging wire as the title shows. Here, consider I1 is the first current carrying wire parallel to I1, and we put this I1 firmly in a rigid support. We put this I1 firmly in a rigid support. We have I1 long current carrying wire shown by PQ in the diagram, and we fix the wire firmly, rigidly in between two rigid supports. But there is no support for second long current carrying wire. This is the second wire, second long parallel current carrying wire. This is the second long parallel current carrying wire carrying current I2 denoted by the letters RS, and it just kept below this one at some distance. For the given current and given distance between the wires, let it be hanging. Second wire is hanging. Suppose we assume second wire is hanging. How it is possible? Obviously, hanging wire weight must act in downward direction. Students, hanging wire weight must act in downward direction. Because of weight, it should fall down, but that is balanced and it continues its hanging. Though weight is acting, weight pulls the wire in downward direction, but it's still hanging. To hang this wire, it should be supported by magnetic force between the two wires. Already, according to our previous part of discussion, when current in the two long wires in same direction, there is attractive force. We discussed very clearly, there is attractive force between two long parallel current carrying wires. This attractive force, attractive magnetic force produced between the two wires balances the weight of the second wire, so that second wire is hanging. So, wire hanging in space when kept below the another current carrying wire, it is possible under this condition when weight is balanced by attraction force. The expression for attraction force is mu naught. I1 is the current in the first wire, I2 is the current in the second wire, mu naught I1 I2 by distance of separation is R, then 2 pi R. Mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi R into L on wire of length. We consider wire of part of length L. So, mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi R on L part, the weight of L part of the wire is mc. So, weight is balanced by magnetic force so that it keeps hanging in air. Okay, let us consider the second application, wire floating. See the animation here. This is the I2 wire kept in air, and this is the I1 current carrying wire carrying currents in opposite direction. And here this I1 long current carrying wire is fixed firmly, supported firmly in rigid supports. So, I1 long current carrying wire carrying current in right side direction, positive x direction, let it be positive x direction, fixed firmly in rigid supports. Above this I1 wire, we kept another long current carrying wire, RS carrying current I2. As usual, the weight of the wire is acting downwards, undoubtedly, because no support is there, no support is given for the second wire, its weight is hanging, it should fall down. But we keep the wire floating in space. We have to, this is the condition, wire is floating in the space. How it is possible? There should be some repulsion. There should be some magnetic repulsion force on the second wire by the first wire. Repulsion is possible when current direction is opposite. So, that is why I2 must be in opposite direction to the I1 direction. Then there is a magnetic force acting in repulsion direction, that means opposite direction. So, this is the repulsion force, magnetic repulsion force acting on the second wire. If this magnetic repulsion force balances the weight, then second wire may float above the first wire. The magnetic repulsion force is given by the formula mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi R. Wires are carrying currents I1 I2 respectively, and consider length L at a distance of separation, R is the separation between the two wires. Then repulsion force due to opposite direction of currents mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi r must be equal to weight of the wire. So these are the two applications. Let us move on to the further application. Next application, wires are at equilibrium by making angle theta with vertical. So let us see. This is the first wire, PQ carrying current I1, long current carrying wire, and consider the second wire. See, you observe the second wire. This is the second wire carrying current I2. So let this be the second wire. Here let us assume this is the second wire carrying current I2. Let it be denoted by RS. Okay. PQ is the first wire, RS is the second wire carrying current I2. And they are suspended by strings. Here they are suspended by strings. This is a rigid support, and two wires are suspended by strings. Two wires are suspended by strings as shown in the diagram. Because carrying current, let them allow the current in opposite direction. So these changes are very important, students. Here we assume I1 current carrying and I2 current carrying wires are shown in the diagram, and carrying currents I1 is in this direction, I2 is, then there is a repulsion force. So though, let us assume these two wires are here. Observe, look into my hand. Two wires are here before giving currents to them. When we allow the current to pass through the two wires, they repel each other because of quite opposite directions of flow of current. These two wires are, let them be close to each other in the absence of current. When we allow the current passing through them, I1, I2 respectively in opposite direction, they starts repel. Therefore, they move away from each other, such that they comes to equilibrium. This is the present condition, such that they comes to equilibrium while they make angle theta with vertical. Each wire is making theta angle with vertical, they comes to equilibrium. Student, I think you followed this data. Next we have to derive the condition, and they repel each other and they move separated to each other, and finally they comes to rest. That means they exist in equilibrium condition when they are making identical angles with vertical. Let theta be the angle with vertical. Then what is the condition? So at which condition they are remains in equilibrium? Here obviously, here weight of this is the, let us consider the first current carrying wire. Its weight must act downwards undoubtedly. Mg is the weight of the first wire, and T is the tension developed in the wire. This is the suspended wire. This angle is also equal to theta. These two are alternate angles. We resolve the tension into two components. Vertical component is T cos theta, because T makes theta angle with vertical. Obviously the horizontal component towards the initial position is T sin theta. T cos theta and T sin theta are the component of tensions in vertical and horizontal direction. Here, to keep this current carrying wire in equilibrium, that means at rest, algebraic sum of forces should be 0. So that upward force is equal to downward force. Upward force is T cos theta, downward force is weight. T cos theta must be equal to mg. Then T sin theta is the component of tension, obviously pulls the wire towards its original position, mean position. But in equilibrium, that should be balanced by magnetic force. Here we have I1 carrying current in this direction, I2 carrying current in opposite direction. These are the two parallel long wires carrying current in opposite direction. Then magnetic repulsion force is acting between them. So this T sin theta, which is acting towards the equilibrium position, balanced by repulsion force between the two long parallel oppositely current carrying wires. This is the important point, students, because current is in opposite direction, then two wires repel each other with magnetic force F. If this balanced by T sin theta, there is a possibility of getting equilibrium. Then T sin theta should be equal to F. Let this be the first equation and second equation. Then take the ratio of second equation to the first equation. Ratio of second to first. T sin theta by T cos theta is tan theta. Left hand side tan theta. Right hand side f by mg. Then f is equal to mg tan theta is the condition. F is equal to mg tan theta. Very good application. F is the magnetic repulsion force on a wire, between the wires, on a part of length L. It is mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi. Same expression we are repeating the same expression for magnetic force. So repulsion force between two long parallel wires and a part of length L is mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi r must be equal to mg tan theta. If this condition satisfied by the wires because of their currents, then wires are in equilibrium at theta angle with vertical. So I explained the equilibrium condition. Let us move on to the next application. Here we are considering 3 wires now. So far we discussed about the 3 wires. Now we extend our discussion for 3 long parallel current carrying wires. So look into the diagram. We have 3 wires respectively PQ, RS, TU, carrying currents I1, I2, I3 respectively. These 3 are parallel, long, current carrying wires. Carrying currents I1, I2, I3 along same direction. Observe the arrow marks. We have the currents in same direction. Now, we would like to know what is the net force. So, what is the net force? Here the first point, I would like to know what is the net force, net magnetic force on first wire, PQ wire. What is the net force on PQ wire? Here let R1 be the distance between R12 is the distance between first wire and second wire. R23 is the distance between second wire and third wire. Then the force on PQ wire is F is equal to, first wire is attracted by the second wire because of same direction of law of current. First wire is also attracted by the third wire. So first wire is attracted by the second wire with force F12, as well as first wire is also attracted by the third wire with force F13. So F12 plus F13 is the net force in same direction. Therefore, sum of these two is the net force acting on the first wire. Here mu force between first wire and second wire, I1, I2, L is the part of length of first wire, mu naught I1, I2, L divided by 2 pi r, 1, 2. Next force between first wire and third wire. First wire and third wire, mu naught I1, I3, L divided by, here the distance is 2 pi, first wire and third wire having separation R12 plus R23. See the diagram and write this value. Distance of separation between this first wire and third wire is R12 plus R23. So first wire is attracted by the third wire with this force, mu naught I1, I3, L by 2 pi of R12 plus R23. So second one. Next we write the net force on RS wire. Because I2 and I1 currents are in same direction, I2 is attracted by I1 with force F21. I2 is attracted by I1 with force F21 towards I1 wire. As I2, I3 currents are also in the same direction, I2 wire is attracted simultaneously, I2 wire is attracted by the third wire towards third wire with force F23. I1 is attracting the second wire towards I1, I3 is attracting second wire towards I3. Hence these two becomes opposite forces. Then net force is the difference between F21 minus F23. This is the net force on the second wire. F21 minus F23. So expression is in the same form, mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r. Therefore, mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi into R12 minus, because these two are oppositely acting forces on the second wire, and mu naught I2, second wire is attracted by third wire with force, mu naught I2 I3 L divided by 2 pi R23. Okay. Then you try the third one, it is easy. Third wire, what is the net force acting on the third wire? Third wire is simultaneously attracted by the first wire with force F31, also attracted by the second wire with force F21. You try it, you write the formula for it. So F31 and F21, add the sum of the two forces. So adding these two forces, similar to first case, we get the answer in the third case. That is up to you. So let us move on to the next case of the applications of the force between. Suppose we change the direction of I2. In previous part, we discussed the net force on I1, net force on I2, net force on I3, when all are carrying currents in same direction. Now I change the direction of I2 in opposite to I1 as well as I3. Then now what is the net forces on each wire? So I1 is repelled by I2, because directions of I1, I2 are opposite. I1 is repelled by I2, that is the F12 direction, whereas I1, I3 directions are same. I1, I3 directions are in same. I1 is attracted by the I3 because of same direction. Only simple principle. Here, throughout all these applications, we are using two things. One is force, magnetic force formula, mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r. For the same direction of current, if two wires carrying current in same direction, that is attractive. Two wires carrying current in opposite direction, that is repulsive. Only two things are enough to write any expression for this, all these applications. So when you consider these three wires as shown in the diagram, in which I1, I3 carrying currents in same direction, I2 carrying current in opposite direction, then I1 is repelled by I2 because of opposite direction of current. I1 is attracted by I3 wire because of same direction flow of current. Then first one, the net force on first wire, on PQ wire, net force on PQ wire, that is equal to F12 minus F13. If you consider the, as usual, similar to previous one, R12 is the distance between them, and between second and third wire distance is R23. Then F12, that is the repulsion force, mu naught I1 I2 L part of length by R12 minus here mu naught I1 I3, between 1 and 3 wires we are writing the expression for force, mu naught I1 I3 L divided by distance of separation between 1 and 3 is sum of the separations, R12 plus R23. Okay. Similarly, the force on second wire, that is RS wire, force on RS wire. So when you consider RS wire, direction of flow of current in second wire and first wire opposite, so it is attracting. It is repulsion. Because the force is in opposite direction, there is a repulsion force. I1 and I2 current carrying wires have current directions in opposite direction. So force exerted on the second wire by the first wire is repulsion. And as well, the second and third wire also carrying currents in opposite direction. So second wire is also repelled by the third wire. Second wire, third wire carrying currents in opposite direction. Second wire is also repelled by the third wire. So its force direction is F23 away from the third wire. So net force is here on second wire, net force is F21 minus F23. Second wire is repelled by the first wire and second wire repelled by the third wire in opposite direction. So when you observe the F21, F23 direction, they are opposite. So net force is F21 minus F23. So F21 is mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi R12 minus F23 repulsion force exerted between the second and third wires mu naught I2 I3 L divided by distance between them is R23. So 2 pi R23. When you observe the third wire, net force on third wire, here first and third wire carrying currents in same direction. So first wire is attracted, third wire is attracted by the first wire. Third wire is because of same direction flow of current, the third wire is attracted by the first wire with force F13, and with respect to second wire, current directions are opposite between second and third wires, therefore there is repulsion force exerted by the second wire and third wire. So force on third wire by the second wire is repulsion. Then net force is this F32 minus F13. So the net force on third wire is F is equal to repulsion force on third wire by the second wire minus attraction force between first and third. Write the respective expressions for them, you get answer. So let us move on to the another applications. Here this is another one. So far we discussed so many number of applications of parallel current carrying wires. In first time we are observing perpendicular current carrying wires. Let PQ be the first wire carrying current I1. RS is another wire carrying current I2. But it is not long wire. PQ is a long wire. PQ is a long wire carrying current I1. Let it be in positive y direction. RS is another wire having some length. Here length of this wire is, let it be B. Length of the wire is B. Carrying current I2. Length of wire is B, carrying current I2. Here this end is R, the second end is S. The distance between the first long wire and first end of the second wire, let it be A. A is the distance between long current carrying wire, first wire, and the first end of the second wire is A, and length of the second wire is B, which carrying current I2. Then what is the force between the first wire and second wire? Here the magnetic field due to I1 current carrying wire at some arbitrary distance x, magnetic field due to first current carrying wire I1 at some arbitrary distance x is into the boat, and this magnetic field is given by B is equal to mu naught I1 divided by 2 pi x. Okay, this is the simple thing. Magnetic field due to I1 current carrying wire at arbitrary distance x, direction is from this part of discussion, we know that it is into the boat and its value is mu naught I1 by 2 pi x. Here the important point, x changes. The x value at first end of the wire is A and gradually increases. X value at the second end of the wire is A plus B. So when you move from R to S of the wire, x value increases from A to A plus B. Then B is variable. B is no more constant. That is the difference. In all previous part of discussion, we discussed the parallel wires for which B is constant because distance of separation is constant. Here distance of separation is gradually changing from one end to other end. Therefore, x changes from A to A plus B as well as B also changes. That is why we have to consider one small element in the given length. From R to S, length is B. In given part of length, let us consider a part of wire of length, a very, very small part of wire. Consider very small part of wire of length dx, which is at a distance x. Then first we calculate the force on that wire. Here for this B is into the boat, then Fleming left hand rule. Here B is into the boat and current is in this direction, then force is upwards. So in this direction we have dF force. It is not the total force, it is a force on only a part of length. That's why let it be dF. Therefore at distance x from the first wire, arbitrary distance, the magnetic field is given by the expression mu naught I1 divided by 2 pi x, mu naught I1 by 2 pi x, which is into the boat. Then Fleming left hand rule, F Bi, B is into the boat, current is towards positive x direction, force is along positive y direction. Then along this direction we have the force. Then force acting on small part of element, this is the element of length dx at a distance x, is B I2, B is the magnetic field on the I2 current carrying wire, I2 is the current in it. So B I2 length is dx, B I2 into dx. Of course theta is obviously 90, between length of element and positive x direction, magnetic field is in z direction. So B I2 dx. So substitute B value from above expression, we get mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi x dx. This is dF value. We get force only on one element of the given wire. Then force on total wire of length B extend from A to A plus B, calculated by using integration. Integration is the only possibility here. Then total force is equal to integral dF between limits A to A plus B. First end is at A, second end is at A plus B, because wire length is B. Then in this integration we have to integrate this expression. Keep the constant outside the integration, that is mu1, mu naught is constant, I1, I2 also constant by 2 pi into integral dx by x, integral dx by x, where x is the position of the first end, that is A, and second end is at position A plus B, according to consideration. Then we know that integral dx by x is log x to the base e. Therefore mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi into integral dx by x is log x. The limits are changing from x is equal to A to x is equal to A plus B. X is changes from A to A plus B. Substitute the limits to the base e. This is log x to the base e. The integral dx by x is log x to the base e. So upper limit log of A plus B minus lower limit log A. Log of A plus B minus log A means log m minus log n is log of m by n. So write that expression. Therefore mu naught I1 I2 divided by 2 pi. Substituting the limits and arranging, we get log of A plus B by A to the base e is the value, where A is the first end position, B is the length of the wire. Then for the two perpendicular current carrying wires, one is the long I1 current carrying wire, second one is the perpendicular directed I2 current carrying wire of finite length B, and kept at first end is kept at position A. Then force between these two is in upward direction. It is a variable magnetic field associated with the second carrying wire, because x changes. Under the variable condition, by using integration process, we calculate the net force acting in upward direction. Then that is given by mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi into log of A plus B by A to the base A. Different expression, very good application. So let us move on to the next application. Here I1 is the first current carrying wire, I2 is the second carrying wire carrying current in same direction, and we shift the wire. Here we have the rectangular loop. See once again, there is a long parallel current carrying wire of I1. Here we are finding force between current carrying wire and loop. We are extending our discussion to the one more application, in which we would like to find magnetic field between one parallel long current carrying wire and I2 current carrying loop. So see the student, I show the loop once again for you. Here look into the animation. First of all, we have a PQ long parallel current carrying wire carrying current I1. Adjacent to this one, we have a loop, rectangular loop. Observe, you find the rectangular loop here. So this is the rectangular loop in which there is a I2 current carrying wire, PQ. Let AB, CD be the rectangle loop of length L and breadth B. Length of the wire is L, rectangular loop is L and breadth is B. Then here let us observe the AB. Here PQ current carrying wire produces a magnetic field into the boat here, and these two are same directed currents I1 and I2. Look into the AB wire and PQ wire. AB and PQ wire carries currents I1, I2 respectively in same direction. Then there is attraction force. This is the force acting on AB wire. Look into the CD wire. CD wire carrying current from C to T direction. When you compare with PQ wire, PQ and CD wire carrying currents I1, I2 respectively but in opposite direction. Oppositely directed current carrying wires repel each other. This is the force acting on CD wire. Next, about BC and AD. So, according to our previous application, just previous one, if we have a perpendicular directed current carrying wire beside of a long parallel current carrying wire, force acting is in upward direction, FBC. Obviously, if it is opposite direction, force is in downward direction, because magnetic field is into the boat like this, magnetic field is into the boat here, and Fleming left hand rule, magnetic field into the boat and current direction is changed like this. This is the direction of current, magnetic field is into the boat, force is downward direction. This is FAD. When you look into the FBC and FAD, they are equal in magnitude because of same width. Width is same for BC and AD. This is the rectangle. Therefore, BC and AD have same lengths. That's why they have same magnitude of forces. But force on BC in upward direction, force on AD in downward direction. So they have equal amounts of forces in opposite direction. They cancels each other. Net force becomes 0 on BC and AD. Algebraic sum of forces on the wires BC and AD is 0. They cancels each other. Equal magnitude, opposite in direction. Therefore, the net force, now the net force becomes force acting on AB is towards first wire minus force acting on CD, it is away from the first wire. So this is the net force of rectangle. Net force on the rectangle is force acting on AB minus force acting on CD. Force acting on AB, I1, I2 current carrying wire. So mu naught, I1, I2, length of this part of wire is L, mu naught I1, I2 L by distance. Let us assume this distance is A. A is the distance of AB parallel wire from first wire. So mu naught I1, I2 L divided by 2 pi A. Okay, minus on second wire mu naught I1, I2, here also carrying same current, I2, length is L, but distance is 2 pi. Distance of the CD wire from this one is A plus B. So this total distance, width plus A, so A plus B. These two are not equal in magnitude, that's why they does not cancels. First one is more than the second one. That's why you get positive value. So net force is outward direction. Net force is FAB is towards and FCD is outward. So resultantly FAB is more magnitude, so net force is towards I1. If current direction is as shown in the diagram, that is in clockwise direction, net force is towards first wire with this amount of magnitude. These are some interesting applications. So we continue our discussion. Here work required. See the animation, students. Initially, we have two parallel current carrying wires. Let us consider second wire is a part of length L. Initially, separation distance is A. So, there is attraction force, that is F1, F value, let it be F1, first position force, attraction force because of same current. Suppose we would like to shift this wire to the second position. Look into the animation, this wire is shifted. This wire is displaced by B from its initial position. Once again, you may observe the animation. Initial wire is here at a separation of A, and we hold the wire and slowly move the wire to the position B. We displace the wire to the position B. So, here wire is displaced from here to here. Then how much work is done? That is our aim. Work done. Here we would like to find work done to change the position of the wire from A separation to A plus B separation. Displacement is B, so separation becomes A plus B. To displace the wire by B value, how much work is done? Work is required. Here, at a distance, arbitrary distance x, suppose consider a wire at arbitrary distance x. We are considering neither first position nor second position. We are considering arbitrary distance x carrying current I2. Then, at that position, the force acting, attraction force between the two wires is mu naught. This is very well known formula. Throughout this session of discussion, we are repeating. For every 1 minute, we are writing this formula. So, mu naught I1, I2 into L. We consider a wire of part of length L. So, second wire of part of L, first wire of long wire, mu naught I1, I2 L divided by 2 pi x is the force at arbitrary distance x. Of course, this x is changing in our discussion from A to A plus B. At some considered position x, this is the force. At that position, let the wire be displaced by dx, because this force is no more constant. As x is changing from A to A plus B, this is a variable force. So, we are doing work against a variable force. When work is done against a variable forces, the approach is first find the work for very small displacement. Let initially the wire be displaced by very small displacement dx at force F at distance x. Then work done for very small displacement. Work done for very small displacement is dw is equal to f dx. Okay. Therefore, mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi x into dx. This is the work done for small displacement x at a distance x from the first wire. Then total work done in displacing the wire from x changing from A to A plus B is calculated by using integration. Total work done, here see the animation, here students, initially wire is at position A, now wire changes its position, displaces by B so that its position changes to A plus B. For this total displacement, the work is calculated by integral f dx, that is calculation. Then keep the constant outside the integration, mu naught constant, I1, I2 are also constant, L length of second wire by 2 pi into integral dx by x, where x is changing from initial position is A, wire displaces through B, therefore final position is A plus B. Once again, mu naught I1, I2 L divided by 2 pi into integral dx by x is equal to log x, whereas x changes from x is equal to A to x is equal to A plus B. Substituting the respective limit, log of A plus B minus log A, upper limit minus lower limit. So, this is log x to the base e, integral dx by x, log of A plus B to the base e minus log A to the base e. Log m minus log n is equal to log of m by n. So, by using that, we are rearranging this expression, mu naught I1, I2 L divided by 2 pi into log of A plus B by A to the base e is the work done. at a distance A, another current carrying wire of I2 of length L, we displaces it through B so that final position becomes A plus B. Then work required for the shifting of second wire is mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi into log of A plus B by A. Then work done per unit length on cross multiplying, of course, we get mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi into log of A plus B by A to the base E. Students, in this part of discussion, we discussed very important concept in moving charges and magnetism, that is force between two parallel current carrying wires. Just I summarize the main expressions. If we have two parallel current carrying wires carrying currents I1, I2, two parallel long current carrying wires carrying currents I1, I2 at a distance of separation R, the magnitude of force between the two wires is mu naught I1 I2 into L divided by 2 pi R. Force on length L is mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi R. Then force per unit length is mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi R. One more very important regarding direction. If the two wires carrying current in same direction, then force is attractive. If they are carrying currents in opposite direction, force is repulsive. By using these two explanations, we discussed so many applications. All are calculated by using the last given conclusions. So keep it in mind, and just by yourself you may do the applications also. And I hope you followed and you understood my discussion very well. And thank you one and all. Thank you very much.